Good evening and welcome to another episode of Two Up Top. My name is Gav Mack. I'm joined by author, football writer, and absolute legendary guy, Dev Bajwa. How are you, dude?
I'm good, mate. How are you? Always a pleasure to be back on this channel. Come on now, it's one of my favorite places to be, Gav. Come on.
Oh, stop it. Stop
So
it. You're
what are
making
you
my head even
talking about?
bigger than it is already. So Dev, as I said, is the author of this book. This book is the first ever bought copy as well,
It
by the way,
is.
that I did. The Football Spiderweb. Go out and get it, and I'll tweet a link for it later on tonight on MAD Sports Net, where you can find me as well as Two Up Top. But if you can, please subscribe. All the links going down below: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Two Up Top Football. And if you didn't know already, if you put Two Up Top into Google, our name comes up first. Shiny stuff. Shiny stuff. Dev, before we start chatting about what's going on in the Premier League, which is a Premier League show, of course, tell me what the latest is at the moment with Ultra United.
Oh, mate, quite a lot to be fair. So we're trying to get kind of as many people involved as possible. We're using it as kind of like a platform now. If you're a young writer who don't have much experience, getting into the world of journalism can be hard. And to be fair, a lot of the world we live in, I say the words Talk Sport or AFTV or something like that, you get the clickbaity stuff, some of the negative stuff, to be honest, sometimes. And we steer clear away from that. So it's kind of a place now, it's developed to a place now where it's like, it's a digitized version of like the pub chat. So, the players you forgot about, the media don't talk about, the moments that made you a fan, all of that. So we're just kind of growing it and developing it. It's a slow rise because, to be fair, with positive stuff, it takes a little longer to get going than the negative stuff. So it's growing, but it's enjoyable, mate. Enjoying every minute of it.
Oh, fantastic stuff. Look, make sure you go and have a look at that. Ultra United on Twitter. It's Ultra 2A's
Yeah.
UTD. I'll put a link for that in a few moments.
It's because that guy, there's a man who has it, just Ultra UTD, and I've DM'd him all sorts, and he just went cold on me. So I'm trying to get his header, but for now, yeah, 2A's, unfortunately. But give us a follow, and you'll see what we make.
I'm exactly the same with MAD Sports Network, because MAD Sports Network is a non-Premier League channel, so it does a lot of football stuff. Away from your standard fan channel-y sort of thing, away from what we do here at Two Up Top. It covers a whole range of sports. So we want to use MADSN, but someone's got it. One like, one follower, one following.
Yeah, classic.
This is August 2011. Will not let us anywhere near it. What's the point of sending a DM? It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So yeah, it's the struggle's real.
Yeah, legit.
So there it is. Ultra 2A's UTD. Make sure you give those a follow on YouTube. Not on YouTube. Oh, it's on YouTube as well, isn't it?
It is on YouTube. Yeah.
And on Twitter. I was meant to say on Twitter, but that's there.
Yeah.
That's that. So let's start at the top of the league. And what is the actual headline of this week's show, which is Manchester City versus Chelsea. Manchester City at home is no longer a fortress. They can be beaten there. And my headline was AguerNO, and I thought I was being super clever. And then my pal Jason Wardell, I didn't realise that yesterday he put on Facebook AguerNO. So yeah, do you know what? Credit to him. It's annoying because I thought I was being super clever when I was writing that earlier on today. It is what it is. Sterling opened the scoring just before half-time, before Ziyech. He just loves scoring against Man City at the moment. And then Alonso right at the death. But there was drama amongst this game. And I feel as well that Sterling, despite him opening the scoring, I feel that he should have been sent off early doors.
With the penalty.
Yeah, well, no, the one where
the over the top of the ball. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, we've seen it loads of times already this season. We're going to dig out VAR as we always do anyway. But I just feel that there has been a number of challenges this season which have gone for which have happened, which have resulted in red cards, which have been for a lot less.
Yeah, I'd say with that one, like you've seen them given, that's the thing, and it is one of those where it looked pretty dangerous, even to the untrained eye, not slowed down. It looked like it was at pace. He didn't look all that in control of it, and his foot was off the ground, and his studs were showing. It had all of the bits there, which the eye test confirmed it should have been a red, and it just should be a red. Like, I don't care what time of the match it was. I don't know if that played into it any wherever their decisions were, or where it was on the pitch or whatever. But there's no consistency, is there? With any of their decisions, there's just zero consistency. So I mean, yeah, and the fact he went on to score is probably the only thing that's really irritating. And it would be a much more vamped up conversation had Man City gone on to win, and then Sterling was a clear contributor to that win. So just because that didn't happen doesn't mean it should get swept under the rug. And I hate to say, I feel like it has, because I don't think we'll talk about it again. That's the thing.
On the stroke of half time, Manchester City had a penalty. It was a penalty as far as I was concerned. I don't think there's any question of doubt in my mind. But Aguero, he's on for a record. Whereas about to equal Wayne Rooney's record for the most amount of goals scored by a single club.
Yeah.
And he decides to try and dink it down the middle. And Mendy's like, I'll have that.
That was lovely. The fact Mendy kind of dived to the bottom and just all right. So he didn't even stop. He just rolled it out and just let it get on with it. And you just saw Aguero's face. And to be fair, that was 10 minutes of pure crap from Aguero as well, because he miscontrolled the ball originally that fell to Sterling for the opener, and then he missed the penalty. But the thing is, if he scores, he's a genius, isn't he? That's the thing. If you're gonna do that, if you score, you're a genius. It just is that. And Aguero is a genius. He's a great player, great striker. So if anyone could have done it, I'd say it would be him. However, you don't do it against Chelsea when you haven't won the league just yet, and you're leaving soon, and you're not considered really the top dog there anymore. There's a lot of question marks around it. You've had a bad game, and it's 1-0. All of those things shouldn't have happened for that to be a Pannenka. 4-0 up, whatever, try it. But it just made it sound look like a mug. But the fact that they went on to lose, it's poetry. And I like Aguero though. I might be a United fan. I love Aguero. I rate him so highly. But what an idiot. It was just great to watch. I laughed, but I kept rewinding it, kept recording it. It's great stuff.
I'll tell you what takes the mick though. He will get credited with an assist for that Sterling goal.
Oh yeah, he will.
This is where stats are so misleading, and it does my absolute squeed, because he completely fluffed that opportunity.
It's a mistake,
It's just landed at Sterling's feet and he's prodded it home. But Ziyech, he loves scoring against Man City, and this is now the third time they played against each other this season. Third time in a matter of weeks after the FA Cup game, and now we've got the Champions League final on the 29th of May.
Yeah.
So
I'm a bit. The thing is, I did say at the beginning, before the game even kicked off, actually, that whoever was going to win this is going to lose the Champions League final, and I still believe that. I think Chelsea are a really good side. Tuchel's a great manager, and they're riding a bit of a wave with him, which is nice to see. And Chelsea play well against a team that play football. If you stand up against them, they struggle, which is why Ziyech, against the bigger teams, he always performs very well. But I think now, if there's anyone who's going to learn from it and make sure it doesn't happen on the biggest occasion, it's going to be Pep. So I think a lot of things have to be going right for Chelsea for them to win, but I think they overused one particular tactic in this game, and that was on the right-hand side when Ziyech was there, and it was Reece James, because when James was overlapping, they couldn't handle him. They took off Mendy, they brought on Zinchenko, went to 3 at the back, couldn't do it. And I think now they're going to train up against that, make sure they sit a bit deeper, control a bit more of the ball. And I honestly don't think that the Champions League final will be as good a game as this, because it'll be more tactical. But at the end of the day, football is about learning. You're supposed to do that thing, and Chelsea deserved on the night. I think they battered Man City, in my opinion. Second half, it was all Chelsea as far as I could see. So obviously there could have been a penalty for Sterling, but all in all, Chelsea deserved the win. But I don't see it repeating itself in the final. Do you? Do you see them going on to win the Champions League?
See it happening? Yes, I could see it happening. Do I want it to happen? No. I wanted Arsenal to be the first team in London to win the Champions League, and clearly it didn't happen. And as it's well documented, as I mention it all the time, I was there when Chelsea won it in 2012. I was on the halfway line at the Allianz Arena. Thank you, TalkSport, by the way. It was they have it in them to do it. Tuchel will be desperate to win it because after what happened last season, losing it in the final, getting to the final, which was something unprecedented for a PSG side. So for him not to win it and then be in the game for the whole 90 minutes, this is the Bayern side that just tonked Barcelona 8-2. Yeah. And for them to stay well within the game, it would be an opportunity lost for them more than anything else. With Pep, he's been in 2 Champions League finals. He's won them both. So
and it defines him though. This for Man City, this was why he was brought in originally. I mean, they brought the entire backroom staff at Barcelona, including him, with the view of winning this thing, and they haven't come close really before. Like I remember they got knocked out by Monaco and some lower league teams before. So now they've got a real chance. Like there's no surprises with Chelsea. You know what you're going to get with them. Like you don't need to send scouts out. You don't need any of that. There's still a packed out schedule to the end of the season. Injuries could play a big part. That's something we don't know, but I think you neutralize James because that was killing you last game, and neutralize the wings because that's what Tuchel does. I think it's Pep's. I can't look beyond Pep, and it pains me to say, but I can't look beyond him.
It's going to go to pens.
You reckon?
It's going to go to pens, and it's just going to be whoever holds their nerve. And, it's a 50% record for Chelsea in finals on penalties as well. But
the big question, though, if it does go to pens and Aguero's playing, does he do the Pannenka? Yeah, don't think he does he?
And it goes in. No,
if he does, I swear, if history repeats itself and he wins with a Pannenka, I'll get him tattooed on my back. I don't care. Like that is class. That's legendary.
Heard it here now. Heard it here first. So the top 4 race is starting to heat up a lot now, and Liverpool put a lot of pressure on that with a 2-0 win over Southampton last night. This is it's going to take them a long way considering other results that happened earlier on today and over the weekend, frankly. It was finally a goal for Thiago getting himself on the team sheet. So now all Liverpool fans are lauding him, saying how wonderful he's been all season now.
Honestly,
that's what Liverpool fans do.
Yeah, facts. Like Van der Beek barely play. Like he doesn't play, and he's got better stats than Thiago. Like he piped down a bit. Like he hasn't done brilliantly. But at the end of the day, it's like it was. I don't think it was all that convincing from Liverpool, personally. I think Alisson played very well, bar the odd scare with his feet. But without him, I think they would have been in trouble, to be fair. There were some key saves, even before their opener, very key saves. The second goal was good. Yeah, good goal from Thiago. Can't say nothing against that. But I mean, I expect them to win against Southampton anyway. So the fact that this is a talking point for Liverpool shows how far they've dropped this season, so that's good as well. But I just think it was okay. I'm not happy about it. Friggin' hate them. But I think now they stand 3 or 6 points depending on if they win their game in hand up into the top 5. I think it is. I think they still got a bit of a way, but I just hope Leicester keep winning, Chelsea keep winning, and we keep winning. Then that's fine. If they got outside the top 5 by a miracle and they didn't get Europe at all, oh mate, I don't even know what I'd do.
Well, this is what I was hoping. Because Arsenal are having a torrid time. We're currently 20 minutes into the Arsenal-West Brom game, by the way. It's still 0-0 and it's all West Brom. I'm not surprised. Anyway, what I was hoping was for Arsenal to go on and win the Europa League, which would have just been hilarious, and come finish 11th. This is what I wanted. Arsenal to finish 11th, win the Europa League, and then finish outside the top 4. It would just be so damn funny, and Spurs to come 8th as well. That would have just been the perfect season, St. Tottenham's Day isn't coming anytime soon. But it would have just been brilliant just playing in that at the moment. But it's not going to happen for the Arsenal. But Liverpool, I've got a feeling that they're going to sneak in the back door. And
so do I.
Yeah, they're going to squeeze in and get into that top 4 position. I can feel it.
Yeah, so do I. Completely agree. Annoyingly.
The reason why is because of teams like Leicester, just shagging it, frankly.
Like, where did this come from? Like, this game, who the hell could have seen this coming? Like, it wasn't it 4-0 at some point as well, and then they brought it back to 4-2. It was the thing is they battered them as well. Newcastle shagged them. They were nowhere near scoring a single goal. Dubravka made 2 saves until the 80th minute, and then they scored a wonder goal, and then they think, 4-2 is not bad. You got battered. They should hang their heads in shame. That was hot. At home, I know it doesn't mean anything now, but how you're fighting for top 4. Yeah, but you're fighting for top 4. Newcastle, like, okay, they're fighting for relegation or they've each got a fight on. But let's remember, they're in the relegation battle for a reason. Not very good, Newcastle. I like Newcastle. Not very good. A very good football team, right? Leicester, right up there, should be going for the top bits, and yet they're just misfiring all over the place. Vardy's been pretty poor. Like, his movement hasn't been quite the same. I know that they've had a lot of injuries, they have, but they've got more than enough depth to not concede 4 against Newcastle. It was shambolic, and they should be ashamed of that. They really should.
They so should. I mean, Newcastle United, they've had their issues on and off the pitch for a number of years now. Yeah. But to end up looking like prime Spain, like 08 to 2013, against a Leicester side that play ball. Now, Leicester, they did it last season as well. And is this Leicester's fault, or is this a Brendan Rodgers situation now? Because if they don't get into the top 4, this is now going to be 3 times, as far as I'm concerned, that he has messed it up. The one against for Liverpool in 2014, last season and this season. Been in prime position all season and just don't have the staying power right at the end. I can't blame personnel for that.
I don't know if I can blame Rodgers for that. I know he's got a bit of a checkered history with it, to be fair, but he's gonna have to dig it out, because I know he's still got to play United in the run in to the end of the season, and that Chelsea was the last game, and Chelsea and Spurs, and that was I swear Man United was the last game last season, and we beat them. So I think it's gonna be difficult for him, but I've kind of been of this thing, like, we all know that Leicester winning the league was just the biggest shock ever, and it's almost as if they've kind of got a divine right to be Europe or top 4. They really haven't. I think they've recruited well, they've played well and everything, but I still think they're overperforming a lot of the time, because the top 4, in my eyes, don't really include them, and they're still in and amongst that, the rat race. But the thing is, it's how, like, and I'm saying this as a United fan, how topsy-turvy they are. Like, they can look golden one minute and look horrible the next. Like, Newcastle shouldn't be beating you ever. They should not be beating you, and yet you'd probably beat us. I reckon they'll probably beat us, and that's why I don't get the disconnect there. And they have had injury problems. I think the injuries have played a big part in that. But how many times are you gonna play that chestnut? Then you recruited last season, you recruited the season before, still not enough. All right, well, change it up then, because I also don't think Rodgers has a plan B. That's been my only issue with him, because even when they won the league, they had Ulloa or someone just to throw on and make it a bit awkward. They don't, legit, Wait, is your mic on? I think I can't really hear much. I think is it muted? Yeah, I can't hear anything for some reason. Let me check on my side. Yeah, I just can't hear anything on your end for some reason, mate. The joys of technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we do.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you now, mate. Yep.
I have no idea what the hell happened there.
It's technical difficulties, always.
I hadn't even touched anything. I thought you were taking the mic because I said that I hated Leonardo Ulloa.
Oh no. You know, but you get what I mean. There's no second thing with him. Like if something goes wrong, there's nothing to bring on. It's like they have players that are so similar to one another. It's like they don't add anything. So he'll bring on Perez and take off Madison or something. It's like, well, what's that gonna do exactly? You'll take off. You'll put Vardy further forward. You drop Iheanacho. I'm like, that's sick, cool. There's nothing else, and they'll bring on like Thomas or Justin or something on the wings, and then not play it to the wings. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like there's no variety with Rodgers, and I think that is a problem. But they're in trouble if they don't reach top 4 again. I think he will be, because that's what he's set himself up as now. But I think they could find themselves in a bit of a Newcastle situation back in the day. Not quite the same thing, but when Robson missed top 4, and that was like, God, what, we should be in top 4 because they sustained it for a certain amount of time. Leicester could go that way if they aren't careful. But I think if you're a Foxes fan and you're a Leicester fan, you should be a bit more reasonable in what's happening, because you've had a good run. You're on a good run, but enjoy it, but don't get too ahead of yourself. And I think that's what a few of them are doing.
Do you know what? I think Leicester fans don't believe. So everything they get given to them is a blessing. I honestly think that. I don't think there's many Leicester fans that are super complacent. They're enjoying the ride, and that's how it needs to stay.
Agreed,
and talk about enjoying the ride, and could come to a bitter end. It's time for this.
What are Everton?
I forgot that was a thing.
Very similar to the Leicester situation. It's as in you don't really know which team is going to turn up. They'll get pumped one week and then beat someone who is, they're not necessarily expected to beat. This is Everton. I did not expect Everton to go there and get a result at all whatsoever. But then I've had a look into their recent record in London, and it's actually been quite good. So they are picking up a lot of results in the capital, which is something that they're not normally used to doing historically.
Yeah.
They've gone to West Ham, who are fighting with, tooth and nail to try and get into that top 4. And even though you could argue that West Ham have an easier run in, it's now proved a little bit more difficult for them, especially with Chelsea winning yesterday and Liverpool putting that pressure on. Everton are not exactly miles behind in this race. And West Ham it was important for them to get a win. They just weren't in the game at all. Everton dominated from minute 1.
Yeah, and it's a shame as well, because that's the thing with an informed team. Like with the greatest of respect to West Ham, they don't possess enough quality to break down like a great side if they were to just set up and say, come on, give us what you've got, because they're usually on the break. They're usually counter-attacking. They're usually winning midfield battles, getting scruffy and doing all this. But if you just come up against an organized back line, it tests how talented you actually are. And that's when your technical players really come out. And, I love Souček, I love Lingard and Antonio and all them, but they just don't suit against that back line. And Ancelotti's done a number on him. It's as simple as that. They didn't play, I don't think Everton played particularly well, but when they kept the ball, they kept it better than West Ham. They did every single little thing better than them. And going into it, I didn't know what to expect, because like you say, Everton are Everton, but West Ham are also, they're just on form, and it's a temporary thing. So I'm hoping this isn't a dip for them. I'm hoping it's just a little blot and they can put it to one side and focus on what's important. But there's not much pedigree in the side to suggest that they can bounce back with few games to go and get top 4. There's nothing there that says they can do it except Lingard, and he's operating on form right now. So all I hope for them is that they get a respectable finish, top 4 of Europe or whatever, and they can recruit like even better along with Souček and so far to keep that momentum going, and then have a full pelt next season, not for top 4, but a respectable pelt, because I think their fans deserve it, and I think they deserve more than what they got today.
I still think that they are not next season, regardless where they come, their aim is for a top 10 finish. To break briefly, Arsenal have taken the lead with a goal from Emil Smith-Rowe. It was a ball on the edge of the box, on the edge of the 18-yard box, or on the corner of it, from Willian to feed Bukayo Saka down the left wing, who's crossed it, and Emil Smith-Rowe's hit it on the volley about 6 yards out, powered it into the back of the net. It's 1-0 to Arsenal.
Good player, Emil Smith-Rowe. Very, very good.
Yes, Very, very good player. And the first time I saw him was it was a preseason friendly against Atletico Madrid. And he was just sublime. He scored a lovely goal in that as well. And I thought, oi, this is the reincarnation of Jack Wilshere. You know,
I've got the opposite. You know, I saw him in a under 23s at Boreham Wood playing Arsenal under 23s against United, Chelsea, and Liverpool, and I didn't like him. I remember putting in my report. I was like, he loses the ball too often, he tries too much, and all this. And now I was wrong. Emil, if you're watching, I was wrong, mate. Sorry.
To be fair, he played in the Trade Trophy against Northampton Town. And I went down to Sixfields because it's so down the road from me anyway. I went down to watch that game, and he did exactly that. He did exactly that. Kept on giving the ball away, trying to do too much. It was almost like the big I am sort of thing. And I was like, it's annoying. I had so much praise and time for him, and now he's ruining his career. Yeah. Well, what do we know? I talk about better things on here. You write about better things on United.
That's what we do.
Ultra United. So. And everybody gets it wrong sometimes. We're not all perfect.
No.
Excuse me.
At least we can admit it. At least we can admit we're wrong. And we were wrong. 100% wrong.
Precisely. It's all about putting your hands up. And back to West Ham Everton. West Ham, I feel that next season, irrespective of where they come, if they do make it into the top four, I would love it because I like to see new names get involved in European football and things like that.
So do I, yeah.
But I still think the aim will be just to make sure they get in the top 10 finish. They've got money, so they can spend. I think they've just spent poorly. I think they need to look at who's doing the recruiting rather than the actual recruitment itself because, they've gone out and spent 40 million on X player, 30 million on Y player. It can happen. Everton, on the other hand, the performance today, I just felt that Alan was the exact reason why he was signed. I did actually mark him down at the beginning of the season. I said that he's going to be one of the best signings of the season so far. And it's unfortunate that Everton had their dip midway through the season because it's sort of taken the eyes off what he is capable of and what he can do, along with a couple of injuries that they had in the middle of the park as well, alongside, Decore's been injured. Andre Gomez, he looked like a new signing at the beginning of the season, and then he's changed a little bit at the moment. Even Tom Davies. Tom Davies is someone who I was championing, and he hasn't quite lived up to it. But they've got a bit of communication there, Alan and Davis. So it can work if they could have a nice strong end to the season, start off next season well with a couple more additions, then it could work.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Everton had the best window, in my opinion, because I think they bought Doucouré, Rodriguez, and Alan kind of all around the same time, and I thought it's overhauled their midfield completely. But the money they spent was cheap. Like the same price that they bought all those three players, we bought Van der Beek. Like it's cheap as hell, and they're not small players. They're great. I would love Doucouré or Alan at Man United, 100%. Rodriguez, maybe not with who we've got now, but definitely those two. And I think the balance, like Alan in the defensive midfield, Doucouré box to box, Rodriguez in a free role, that would work so well. Now with Davis like coming into his own a bit, Gomez, like you say, was doing quite well. I think Delph had to play a bit of a role too, but I think they recruit maybe a bit more up top. I feel like they're still a bit light up there, in my opinion. With Sigurdsson, I like him, Richarlison as well, Calvert-Lewin, but it's that second option. It's that variety I don't think they have. So they recruit a bit more up there. I think they're set. Yeah, I completely agree.
Calvert-Lewin, he got the my god, absolute worldie, Pepe.
Oh, really?
It's 2-0. Yeah.
He's worth the 80 mil.
He's literally just got his transfer fee sewn up with that strike there, cutting sides from the right hand side, which we always know he's going to do on the edge of the box, and he's just put his left peg right through it, and it's gone pretty much top in. Great finish. Before we move on from this game, the goal was from Calvert-Lewin. It was a simple ball by Ben Godfrey, and he made Dawson look like a Sunday League defender. Now, what are your thoughts on Calvert-Lewin and on Ben Godfrey for the England side this summer?
I think Ben Godfrey's got to be a shout, to be honest, because I think one thing we lacked at the World Cup and we lack in some of the friendlies is we're a bit predictable when it comes to the midfield transition and the defensive transition. And I think Southgate does like playing 3 at the back sometimes, and he does like playing kind of mobile centre halves. And Godfrey is up there with one of the best in the league, to be fair, for England.
Super versatile as well.
Very versatile. I think he's still got a way to go before becoming a mainstay. But I think if you're looking for a centre back to rotate and to cover when we need him, 100% he should be there. And in terms of strikers, I think it's going to be tough for Calvert-Lewin to get in there. And it's a shame because beginning of the season, on form, top goal scorer in the league, all that, he was a shoo-in probably back then. And I think he's not been sussed out. I don't want to say that's the wrong phrase to use, but I want to see a bit more of an all-roundedness from him if he's going to get in Southgate's side. That's where I think is the disconnect, because Southgate loves all-rounded players kind of everywhere. He likes his goalkeepers to be good on the feet, strikers to drop deep and assist and do all this. He doesn't have one-dimensional players half the time, and I don't think Calvert-Lewin quite reaches up to that level. I'd like to see him and Ings, and I'd love to see them get a shout, but I don't think Southgate will give him that. Just something in my gut tells me he won't.
Yeah. Defensively, I think Ben Godfrey needs to be in that squad. I honestly believe that. I look at the back line for England.
Yeah.
I know he's going to play 3 at the back, and we already know that Kyle Walker is going to be the third centre half. But I don't like that. I want to see Kyle Walker play in his natural position at right back, and he can do a right wing back position as well.
Yeah.
But we're not going to. It's a shame. But if we are going to play 3 at the back, I do fancy Connor Cody to still be part of that, because he does look better in 3 at the back, although today he was pretty shocking. We're going to go to that game in a second. But then, Ben Godfrey could play anywhere in a back 3, in a back 5. We've seen him play left back. We've seen him play right back. We've seen him play in a defensive midfield role position as well. And he's super competent in all of those roles. So I know that he's a relatively young player, but I don't think that should make any difference, because Gareth Southgate has been known to be picking a lot of younger players in the last few squads as well. So he, for me, does fit the mould. Get him in there now and get him ready for World Cup 2022. That's what I think.
No, I agree. I do agree with that. I think with, especially if you've got like a game to see out, I think for game management, you need a versatile player like Godfrey, to be fair, because you don't, let's say you're winning 2-0, you want to protect a lead. He's not going to always sit back and invite pressure. He is quite confrontational. He does go forward, and I like that about him. But one thing I've always wanted to see, and it's a shame that United haven't been, the fact that we haven't had the depth to do this, and we haven't kind of been given the reins to do it either, but I've always wanted to see what Aaron Wan-Bissaka could do as a right-sided centre-back, as opposed to being a right-back, because I don't think he's good enough going forward. Like, I think we can all see that, but
he's got backwards, because that's why you signed him, because he was so good at going forwards for Palace. Whereas now, when we talk about right backs, in particular in the England mould, we talk about like who is good at doing both roles, and the regular argument is Trent Alexander-Arnold is brilliant at going forwards, but he's not very well defensively, and Wan-Bissaka is the defensive-minded guy. So.
But do you know what it was? It's like I genuinely feel like Wan-Bissaka going forward got sussed out, because he does the same thing. He always does the same thing. He's not cutting in on his left ever. He's never going to forge his way into the box. He's going to the byline and whipping it in. And I've got no real issue with that, because it is effective sometimes. But I think if you want to get that balance, because the reason this conversation keeps coming up is because you want the forward play of a Trent and you want the defensive play of a Wan-Bissaka. So I would have loved to fired out. But I genuinely would have loved to have seen him come in as a right-sided centre-back, because I think he's got the pace and everything to recover and do all that, but probably the best tackler in the league. I don't know anyone who can slide tackle as well as he can right now and time it as well as he can.
James.
Defensively,
it's an awful cold that I've got. It's not
bad. Do you want to get it sorted out? I think if you keep doing it over me as well, it seems to time itself.
It's just I don't know. It's called.
No. Go for it. Go for a little sip. Go for a little sip. It's fine. No, go.
It's called Reece James syndrome. That's what it is.
So I think what Gav was trying to say is that Aaron Wan-Bissaka 100% should be in ahead of Reece. better defensively, better. Yeah. So there were other games playing this weekend. Do you want to? Should we just go to them? I feel like we've both made our point now. It makes sense.
I just love Reece James so much. I just think there's just something about him. Like, going forwards defensively, you can imagine if Chelsea had someone who was really good at putting the ball in the back of the net. The amount of opportunities and chances that his crosses are glorious. It makes me wish that I was about at least a foot taller, because I'm not very tall, and just be on the end of those crosses. It would just be brilliant. Stuff.
Facts.
Your lot.
Yes.
Your lot went 1-0 down against Aston Villa, and you came back and did a move on them. Absolute move on them. Traore got the opener. We'll talk about that in depth in a second, because I'm not happy about it from a football point of view. From a non-fan of either of these clubs, it was quite funny to watch. I'm not going to lie. The equaliser was from the spot. Bruno Penaldes on 52 minutes. Then Mason Greenwood a couple of moments later, and then Edinson Cavani, who I hate for personal reasons, but I must respect how good he is as a striker, just put the game to bed before Ollie Watkins was sent off for a dive. We got a second yellow for a dive after being booked on the stroke at half time. Right, this first goal, Devo, I'm not happy with it.
Why?
I saw 5 different situations as to when the ball could have moved on elsewhere. The actual finish itself, I think, was pretty damn good. However, when you see the build-up of that, and you see a lot of black and white shirts, and I'm thinking, okay, well, this is going to go. Oh, okay, no, it's going to go this time. Oh, okay, it's going to go this time. You know, what the hell happened?
I agree. The thing is, I remember watching it, and I just thought, I saw the goal go in, and I was like, fair play. From that angle and that shot, he couldn't have really put it anywhere else. I was like, fair play. I've got no issues with it. Then they went and showed the replay, Gav. And what annoyed me, right, I'm going to tell you, it wasn't Fred, right? It wasn't him. He was the first one on my list. It wasn't McTominay. He was second, because it went off Fred, went to him, couldn't clear it. But Victor Linda... See... as a player, I don't mind him sometimes, but it's when he does stuff like this that irritates me. He tries to be a bit too cute when he just has to leather it. I don't know if I don't think it's a tactical thing. I don't think anyone's telling him that. When you're in danger, you know how to act. I saw what he was trying to do. He's trying to nick it off, give it to Maguire on the side, and then, do the fancy stuff that we usually do and break away.
Yeah.
The thing is, it didn't work first. That's why Fred lost it and McTominay lost it, and then it went to Lindelof. And I'm like, at that point, it's just you, him, and Henderson. You can't pass it back to him. You can't pass it over there. Get it away. Get it for a corner if you have to. They were horrible with their set pieces today as well. We were quite good defensively on the set pieces, so do that. But it's the fact he tried being too cute that irritated me. But you can't. They say this on Match of the Day all the time after being oxymoronic, but you kind of take anything away from that finish, could you? It was just
so true. Now, I think
beautiful.
The only thing why I think he's trying to be relatively cute with that is because if he did swing a foot through it,
maybe
we know that he's got tidy feet. Bertrand Traore. We know he's got tidy feet. So if he was to swing a foot through it, maybe he's worried about giving a penalty away or something. That's the only defense that I have for him. But
even then, it's like it's assessing the situation and it's making a good decision. Because I guess he did turn away from him and he did make it look a bit harder. But at the end of the day, Victor had the run on him. He had the ball. It wasn't like he was stretching all that far for it. That's what's annoyed me here. He had it and he could have kicked it away. And, you don't have to do like a Pogba-esque kick away and like slap his leg in half, but I expect it to be away. And every top flight defender, I think, would have done that. So it was a bit disappointing. But the thing is with United, and I said that I was having a chat with my dad yesterday, and he was just, because he calls me when he wants to feel a bit better about United. So I give him that. But I remember him just saying, like, I just said to him, Dad, even if we go 1-0 down, even 2-0 down, I have a lot of faith in the fact that we will score. Before with Van Gaal or Mourinho, we weren't going to score anymore. And that's what made me so sad. I didn't care what we won under either of them. It meant nothing to me because it was all hollow because I didn't enjoy the football. I'm a football guy first, and you are as well. And
same, 100%.
the football we play under Solskjaer is so much better. And it's gotten to the point where it's so fluid up top and it just looks so nice that even if we go 1-0 down, I was relaxed. I was like, it's first half, mate. It's what we do. Like we do this now. We enjoy it. We get off on it, and then we score. That's how it works.
Do you know what? I weirdly felt like that under Emery. And
Really?
yeah, because we lost our first 2 games of the season on his when he came in. But I'm not being funny. We had Chelsea and Man City.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
I remember people saying stuff against him. I'm like, are you real? Are you for real?
Yeah, it's like, Emery out on after game 2. We were like in the bottom 3, but we just played against Chelsea and Man City. And I didn't think we were all that bad in either of those games, but they were just far superior to us. So it is what it is. That things happen. But then after that, we went on a 22 game unbeaten run. But a lot of those games, we went 1-0 down. Yeah, and most of the time as well, it was half time when we went into the break a goal down, and we came back to win those games, and we played against all types of opposition in all different competitions. So it's the same sort of thing. I didn't feel I wasn't overly fussed. I wanted better, but then I just sort of like assumed that this is just the way we play, and it doesn't matter how we set up tactically. We can start with the exact same lineup that we left with on the previous match, which we played so well in, but it doesn't mean that we
are going to play that way.
Yeah, exactly, because the opposition's changed and things like that. And I feel this is the same thing, especially this season, in particular away from home. Man United are unbeaten away from home in the league this season.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe a stat that Statman Dave put out. I'm sure it's gone around and done the houses now, but we have fewer losses in the league than anyone. And that's
4.
And 3 of them came in the first 5 games of the season when I like everyone else was questioning Oli. And I remember, I have to say this as well. I remember when we lost against Istanbul Başakşehir and we lost like 2-0 or something. And I was calling for his head probably more than anyone I knew. I lost my head completely. I was like, he's not the right guy. He's this, he's that. And Oli, I'm sorry. You know, I've got nothing else to say. I'm sorry,
this is the apologetic hour, isn't it? We're apologising to loads of people.
I feel so bad because it's on the internet forever, and I wish it wasn't. I'm really sorry because he's changed my entire thing about him, and what we've learned as well. There's a nice little story about Oli when he was a player at Man United, and he would be the one to kind of initiate when he would come on as a sub, because he would say to the backroom staff, "Look, I can get in there. They're weak here. I can penetrate." And 9 times out of 10, he would. So the tactical side of the game, he always gets it. And sometimes it might take him half an hour or a full half sometimes. I wish it didn't. And sometimes we do go on the front foot and win, like Leeds and Newcastle, a few other teams. But sometimes he needs that to get back in the game and win. And the players we have, you can't deny that. Our starting 11 is one of the strongest in the league, and I'm so happy that I can actually say that. The only issue I have is that when you take away the starting players, the reserve or the second string not as strong, and they need to be a lot stronger. So we'll see what we do in the summer, but I just kind of expected us to score. Fernandez, it was a penalty, clear as day, good penalty, fair enough. Who scored the second one? Greenwood. I thought the goalkeeper made a bit of a hash of it, to be honest, but then I look back, Greenwood opened his body out to look like he was going to go the other side, and Martinez went that way, and then he slotted to the left. So he just caught him out. Fair play, Greenwood. Good strike. And Cavani, like we're gonna say this again, right? But there's a word, right, beginning with M, ending in movement. That just tells me everything you need to know about the man. The boy, it's
glorious, isn't it?
Other than movement, I don't have any words anymore. I have noises, right? So ask just do this, right? Just ask me, what do I think about Cavani? Just ask me that.
So, Dev, what do you think about Cavani? Mate, honestly, I've known about Cavani for a long time because he used to play for my club, and he left my club.
Yeah.
And
to join Napoli, right? I think.
But the way he left the club is why I hate him. I have a lot of beef with him.
Oh, fair. I don't know too much about that, to be fair.
Yeah, it was part of the co-ownership sort of deal. We offered more than Napoli, and he forced to move through to join Napoli, even though we were actually on the ascendancy at the time. And then that summer, we ended up losing Simon Kjaer, Christian Taccardo. Batzali was sniffing around thinking he might want to move on. we just got Ilicic in. He'd not long been there. So we were going in the right direction until Cavani said what he was doing.
Yeah.
And then after then we just started our team started getting ripped apart. So I blame him for the demise of Palermo. US Tito Palermo. It's his fault why we are in Serie C right now.
Well, I blame a lot of our success on Cavani right now. The guy, he offers something different, and I think the best thing about him is he's a real great education for the younger players we've got coming up. So I think Rashford and Greenwood could learn so much from him. But beyond that, Shoretire, McNeil, like all the real young strikers we have, they should be looking at Cavani and think this is what an elite striker looks like. And I've seen Cavani live, and I've seen him play for PSG. I didn't expect him to be as good in the Prem as he has been, because I thought his link-up play, I don't think he was going to be as good. I didn't think his link-up play was going to be as good. I thought he was quite sloppy, to be honest, when I saw him at PSG, and I saw him play for Uruguay with Suarez, and I thought it just didn't look. It looked like a bit of a Bambi on ice, like he didn't know where he was kind of running.
He also used to take a number of opportunities before finding back in the net as well. He used to do like 6 or 7 chances. You're thinking, come on, man.
Exactly.
It's not like that anymore.
Nah, and I think, we know what's happened with United. He wasn't our first choice. He was never our first choice, and we resorted to him, but we got a good deal out. It looks like he might sign for a second season as well. And if we get a main striker, another winger, defensive mid, I think as well, and probably a centre-back. We've been saying that for like 5 years or so, but I think with Woodward out, I think it could happen a bit better. And I don't think we'll overspend on them, because that's what his fault was, I think, Woodward, when it came to football. So we'll see what it is, but I'm a happy camper. I'm just happy to be a United fan right now. So good day, great day,
great stuff. Now, Devo, just little word of warning: hold your ears. Nothing. Leeds 3, Tottenham 1.
No, you see, you said, Dev, hold your ears, innit? So tell me why I forgot I had headphones on, and I'm just there doing this. It concentrated the sound further into it. I felt that in my left ventricle, in my heart. Felt that in the full aortic pump. That one. Yeah, you were saying Spurs, from what I can hear.
I'll blame my good pal Dan Cox. He made that video for me. Thank you very much for that. Check out his stuff. It's brilliant on YouTube. DC Dan. It's Educating Dan is called his YouTube channel. Brilliant stuff. All about camera work, and so like not just visual. Not just video, also like stills as well. He's made videos for a lot of people. He just done one with Mencap recently. He's really good. And he also, remember Monster Boy? I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not going to sing it. Like the legendary Garage song.
I'm not a big Garage.
I can't live without you. No,
I do know it.
Girl. Hey, here's what I mean to sing. Yeah, cheers for that. Karaoke is going to be coming back very soon at the Boston Clipper in Northampton. I can't friggin' wait. Hell yeah. So he's making a remix of that, and Dan has done the video for it.
Decent.
So he's very good. Check out his stuff on YouTube. It's very, very good. Anyway, all or nothing. Tottenham, lol.
Do you know what it is? I don't like Leeds either, right? I don't. Never been a big fan.
Of course you don't. You're a United fan.
Yeah, never been a big fan of them. But like we hate Liverpool by design. We should hate Leeds by design. I never hated Leeds by design. I guess when I grew up, they weren't really there, so I didn't really care about it all that much. So they were just kind of in the background. And like I remember they beat us with Jermaine Beckford. Dad's like, they dirty scum. I'm just like, oh, did they? That's I thought they deserved it, to be fair, but yeah, we got Michael Owen now. It's fine. But to the present day, I think I've grown a real, not hatred. Hate is a strong word, Gav, but I've grown a strong dislike for anything to do with Spurs. Anything to do with them. I don't like how a lot of them were ranting and raving at the beginning of the season. I think everyone saw, but them, how this Mourinho thing was going to end up. And I knew it was going to be crap. And I'm just glad when they beat us 6-1. Here's the thing. I've never said anything about us beating Leeds or about beating Southampton or when we beat them. You just don't. Sometimes you just shouldn't have to do it.
It comes back to bite you on the arse.
To bite you. And they did not deserve to beat us like that. And they should have got a player sent off and all this good stuff. And they just rode that wave of thinking, oh, they're better than they actually are. Their team, in defence, in particular, is a shambles. And the fans now are starting to see it. I know I've got a lot of friends who are Tottenham fans. They all say the same thing, like Sanchez, Dyer, and all that. It's just like, it doesn't work. You just have to keep beating up, and it doesn't work. I'm surprised Leeds went on to beat them as emphatically as they did, because I didn't think Tottenham did well whatsoever, and I didn't think Leeds would kind of be that. I thought they catered to them, to be fair, because I thought Tottenham would be resolute and then go forward the other way. Under Mourinho, they probably would have been, but under Ryan Mason, fair play to him, by the way, but it was just always going to go. It was always going to go one way. So I'm glad Leeds won. I like Bielsa, so I'm happy that he's got another win under his belt. But I'm so glad to see Spurs lose nowadays. That it's Liverpool, then honestly, then Man City, then Spurs. It goes like that. I love watching them lose. It's like a hobby now because it happens so often.
Yeah, I mean Tottenham. Yeah, their fans. The thing is, because I'm an Arsenal fan.
It's one or the other, though. Like, some of their fans they get it and they know where they're at and they're so down to earth and they're great. Like, I've got a lot of Spurs friends who are fans, but like the other ones who really think the opposite way, it's like you have nothing to base that on. You haven't got anything to base it, and that's what really irritates me. But you get it with all teams, but they're just
under Poch. As a football fan, I grew to really appreciate Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
They were a joy to watch. It was so easy. It was just frustrating that it was Spurs.
That it was them. yeah.
But like as a I like to class myself as a bit of a purist when it comes to the game. I don't care who it is. I just want to see good football, and this is why I love the Bundesliga so much. And this is why I'm actually growing a giant affiliation to the MLS, because I used to take the piss out of the MLS all the time.
So glad you said that. Glad you said that.
I thoroughly love watching MLS football. I love how many kids are coming through, all that sort of stuff as well. I like that both teams want to win games. You don't really find that in the Premier League. Yeah, teams will be set up to not lose, and it irks me. It really does. Yeah. I'm starting to lose a lot of love and respect for the Premier League for that reason. Yeah. But Tottenham, when they were under it sort of started under Harry Redknapp. That's when they started playing some exciting football. And like
exciting
how
players as well. The players who came in were so good. Yeah.
Like how they're talking about Liverpool playing like heavy metal football under Jurgen Klopp. I'm sorry, Spurs were doing that in 2008.
Facts.
They were
with Bale, Modric, and Defoe, Keane. Oh.
But it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. It's the English manager and it's Tottenham. So that's the reason why. Spurs invented heavy metal football as far as I'm concerned, and then, in this new age of social media and things like that, it's been highlighted more so but like with Liverpool, and the fact they've gone on and got success out of it as well. Because I think that's key, because Spurs didn't win anything in that period under Harry onwards up until this current day. I think it's 4,820 odd days or something like that.
Not even that was a Carling Cup, wasn't it? I suppose it was a Carling Cup or something that they ended up winning. Something like that. Yeah.
Against
holding it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Please get over yourselves. So now, like since those days, it's been horrible for Spurs, and I've basked in the glory of it. We might not be doing very well, but just watching Spurs' demise, it's hilarious. So I think they need to go out and get an exciting manager next. Maybe if they could try and nab Bielsa off Leeds, but I can't see Bielsa leaving, because I think he's actually accustomed himself to life in the north I really
Yeah.
do, because especially like in West, like he walks to training, he goes to local cafes, he just chats with the locals.
He's set up a
you know.
foundation. He's got a new flat
Yeah,
somewhere that's like in and amongst the building. He invites people to, like, the guy
that's
knows
what
what
I
he's
mean.
doing. But I think
Yeah.
even if, like, back in Argentina, he stayed with Newell's and he got offered the likes of River and Boca, a few of the other big teams, and he always turned them down. And I think it says a lot about him. He went to like San Lorenzo and he was with Newell's for a long time, and I just think he's the kind of guy who he needs to mesh in with everyone and enjoy it. And the more south you come, and as soon as you get to London, football can become a bit clinical, a bit antiseptic. It's pure up north, a lot purer than it's sort of looking to become. But things about Tottenham, I think they are in big trouble now, because if they don't get a respectable finish, and that the only real respectable finish nowadays is top 4, 5 for a team like that, they're gonna lose Kane, and they might lose Son. And if they lose them, they've got an aging Lloris, already got an aging defense. Levy's already put himself in the crapper with the whole Super League thing, and he was banking on a big investment there. He's going to have to find the money somewhere. People are going to pay top dollar for Kane. I think they're in trouble. I think they're in big trouble. And who have they got in reserve? Vinicius, and he's on loan. Like,
well, yeah, apparently they don't want to re-sign him as well.
Shock.
So
He's a shock.
I don't trust Tottenham Hotspur to spend the money wisely. Look at what he did. Look at what they did with Bale.
Yeah, I was a bit like, when they signed Doherty and they signed Højbjerg, I thought they were decent players, decent squad players.
I
but
rate Højbjerg a lot.
Yeah, but they bought decent players in areas where they needed an overhaul. It's like, you don't do that. You don't buy Joe Rodon when you need a top centre back. He's a good centre back. Don't ruin him by overexposing him, and that's what they look like they've done. So it's a big time for Spurs, but they've definitely fallen off the ivory tower from when Poch left, and I think they're going to be in trouble if they don't fix themselves in the next few games. Yeah, they're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, I think Spurs fans actually want him back, Poch. I don't think any. Some fans wanted to see change, but I don't remember. You know, any Spurs fans, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember any Spurs fans actually asking for the head of Poch.
No. I agree with you.
They asked for things to happen with the board. They wanted more change. They felt that Poch was the right person. He's just having a bit of a crap time.
He had no money to spend and all this. He was made to deal with a crap budget and stuff. So, yeah.
But the Spurs fans never blamed him for that.
No.
They always blamed ENIC, you know, whereas the difference at Arsenal, we blamed Emery for things that were happening on the pitch, and we didn't necessarily blame the board as such, even though we knew that board had an involvement in it. This time round, under Arteta, we've blamed a bit of both. You know, there's a lot of Arsenal fans that are still supporting Arteta, but there's a vast majority that want him out. And, you know, there's also people like myself that never wanted him there in the first place.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Is what it is. But we know it's a board issue. And we also know that we need a decent manager. Spurs, they had the decent manager. They needed board intervention, and they failed to receive it. So, you know, on that respect, I feel sorry as a person, as a human being. I feel sorry for Spurs and Spurs fans. As an Arsenal fan, I couldn't give two hoots. I'm enjoying every second. One person who's been linked constantly with the Spurs job is Graham Potter. They won. They lost. 2-1 to Wolves. Did Brighton earlier on today? They were well in control of this game as far as I was concerned. At 1-0 and with 11 men on the pitch. And it weren't until they went down to 10 men when they were exposed quite heavily. But that's what happens when you lose such a leader in Lewis Dunk.
I'm surprised he did that, to be honest, because it was a cynical red and he took one for the team, I guess. But you've shafted potentially the rest of their season now, because it was a straight red, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
and he's going to be out now, probably for the end of the season. And I think, what was the point? It was either do that or concede a goal. Like, you concede goals, you're Brighton. You're not, some impregnable defense. You concede and you score. You build. But the fact he went and did that, I thought was a really weird decision for him to make, because he's usually the kind of picture of maturity in the Brighton defense when they are still quite a novice side when it comes to the Premier League. Like, they have to move around a lot. They bring in a wealth of different players from different backgrounds and different pedigrees, and they somehow work when they are at full pelt. And I feel so bad for Brighton fans and so bad for Brighton because I love them. I genuinely love them. I think you and I, like we say, we like good football. I will tune into Brighton whenever they're playing. I don't care who it's against because they will always play well, like always. And they bought smart as well. I thought Welbeck was good, Lallana was good. It's just today, Dunk put them in a hole that they couldn't get out of, and I felt really bad for them because they were under the cosh from the moment he got sent off, like 60 odd minutes in, but then for 60 minutes they were on top, and it's like for the last 30 they just couldn't quite hold on, and it just had to be Wolves. And Wolves have got, I was speaking about before, like having options and having different game plans. Nuno gets that. He has always got a different game plan up his sleeve. Like it didn't work out this time, but taking off Pedence and bringing on Willian Jose, they couldn't be any different. They really couldn't. Yeah. And then he brings on Traore. It's like he's trying out things all the time. He's like, forget this cool stuff, get it in the box, up to him, see what happens. And it worked out. So fair play to Wolves. They adjusted the situation well, but apologies, Brighton. That's a tough one to take. Even for me.
I mean, the Brighton thing, as far as I'm concerned, if they had half-decent striker, they would be easily top 10 and every chance of competing for a European position. Because I think that's the only thing that's letting them down. I'm not trying to say that they're like the players that have got a world-class or, of European pedigree, but they play beautiful football. They make things happen. They don't ship a lot of goals either, and that is due to the likes of Dan Burn and Lewis Dunk. I've got a lot of time for Lewis Dunk, by the way. I think this decision that he made today has scuppered any chance of an outside shout for the England squad this summer. I really do.
It's such a shame, though.
He's not getting on, but he's 28, and in comparison to the age group of players that Southgate likes to pick, he is too old. So for
if you're not picking Godfrey, like we said earlier, if you're not picking Godfrey, you're not picking Dunk. That's just how it's got to be.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
It's such a shame though, man. I like Brighton are the only other team. Them, Leeds and United are the team that I'd watch all the time because I just think you're gonna get something out of them, whatever it is, good or bad. And Brighton is just like, it is misfortune. Like you can't be unlucky all the time. Brighton are the antithesis of that rule. Like they have been so unlucky sometimes, and it's been so deep on them. Like the fact that, because I'll speak from a Man United fan, they should have pumped us earlier in the season when we beat them 3-2, when we had a penalty after the final whistle. How unlucky can you be for something unprecedented in the entire footballing world to happen?
Football history.
In history, to happen against arguably one of the biggest teams in the world, arguably the biggest in England, and you're about to beat them. Not like you're drawing at 2-2, whatever, but we didn't deserve to get anything out of that game, and somehow we won. It's like it summed up everything to do with Brighton that did, and it's so sad. And I think it also hurts as well because I kind of want Potter to stay at Brighton. I think he's building a really nice thing there, and they're a fullback and a centre back and a striker away, as far as I'm concerned. I think the fullbacks are where they are scuppering out because they get like Burn on the left and all that.
Playing like a Veltman right back recently. He was injured. They had to play Yakambash there today.
Exactly.
And as far as I'm concerned, he's a right winger. You can't play.
But they have centre backs. But they have centre backs playing that position. And when they had Lamptey and if they got another left back, they would have been awesome. And they were awesome. Like Lamptey was in everyone's FPL at the time, I think. And I think a good strike. I think staying in the Premier League will be huge as well. The financial windfall from that will be huge. And I think if they get a good striker and they complement the experience of Welbeck, the flair of Lallana, the industry of Bissouma, the leadership of Dunk and White, oh my God. And Sanchez is a great goalkeeper as well. They're so good. It's such a shame. I hate the fact that it actually hurts me that they lose. I get really upset. Like, that's good football. You deserve it.
Dev Bajwa, closet Brighton fan.
I like him, man. I really do.
Wolves, on the other hand, they I'm bored of listening to Wolves fans bang on about we would be wherever if it wasn't for
Jimenez.
If it wasn't for Jimenez. It's like,
Would you? I don't think that's true. I think some of their players, to be honest, are so random. because I didn't hear of Vitinha or Ait-Nouri or any of these players before they came to Wolves this season. And then they were kind of shipped in. They had a good run of form and they've stayed there. Gibbs White was on loan at Swansea in January. They had to bring him back. It's like you had a lot of issues to deal with. And to be honest, I think that they have so many gaps that need plugging that are beyond what they're actually showing. I think they need a good centre-half. Again, there's a huge disconnect between the midfield and the front line, a huge disconnect that a 35-year-old Moutinho is having to fill. And Neves just can't be asked moving away from the halfway line because he thinks he's going to punt one in to the top corner when never does. It's like you're in trouble.
But when he does, it's always glorious.
Yeah, but rarely though. Like it's like it's an eclipse. Like he needs to do it more often. But it's like they do need like a good attacking midfielder, another striker, and a good centre half. Like they need a spine. I don't see what the spine in their team is anymore. And you're saying, oh, Jimenez is the problem. Jimenez ain't preventing you from conceding, mate. What's your issue there then? Like come on, like be real when it comes to that.
Yeah, for real. And then the last game. Already relegated Sheffield United versus Crystal Palace. There's a reason why I kept this to last.
There's a reason I didn't watch it. I saw it on Match of the Day. I saw the goals. Benteke, Eze, lovely stuff. Crystal Palace, nice team. They got a nice little badge, got a little eagle on it. I quite like that. Sheffield United.
Don't dig out eagles. Palermo got eagle on their badge, right?
No, they're nice. I love being.
Oh, okay,
serious.
cool.
This is me being serious. Let me speak. Goodness me, I think Sheffield United are quite nice as well. They call themselves the Blades. They got the Blades thing there. Thought that was quite edgy. It's quite nice.
Good person
there. I think I thought it was quite decent there. Look sharp. But the only thing I have to say at all about it, Sheffield United they've been horrible this season and they deserve to be down. And I think Rory Jennings, I remember he got a lot of stick for going on the kickoff with True Geordie and saying at the beginning of the season that they would go down. And I was one of few people in the comments that backed him up. I was like, he's right, because they recruited poorly and they are where they deserve to be. But if anyone in the Man United recruitment department is watching, like, drop a like. Yeah, drop a like on the video and make sure you subscribe also to Top Football, top it in Google, help the SEO. But get Sanderberg in now. Get him in now. I'd be shocked if his agent hasn't put in a relegation clause, and I'd be even more shocked if he costs more than what they paid for him. 15 million was cheap for Sanderberg, and the Norwegian link with Solskjaer I think will work, but he mentored him at Mulder. Solskjaer knows exactly what he's in for, and there was mooted talk that Ed Woodward pulled out of it because he didn't want to spend the money on him at that time. And it's like when we're losing Matic soon, he's only got one good season in him, max at top level, I think. We need someone to in that gap between the defensive midfield. Sanderberg, he would be my top priority this summer because I think he's so accessible. We'll have a saga with Sancho and Haaland maybe and whatever. Get Berg in now, and our midfield would be awesome. If he develops how he can, God, he'd be fantastic.
He is a glorious,
I love him.
Glorious midfielder. He's someone who goes completely under the radar when we talk about decent players and stuff. Like Højbjerg. The Højbjerg move, I felt that went. I don't think that move has been given the respect that it deserves.
15 million as well. It's cheap as hell.
Pennies.
Even coming to Southampton was 8 million from Bayern Munich, and I'm like, have you guys not watched him before? Like, he's good, and he was.
Yeah, he does all that dirty work that no one else wants to do, and he does it well. And he'll get a yellow card or two, but you expect that from someone in that position. He breaks up play, keeps it ticking, moves the ball on, makes things happen, and this is what you need. And Sanderberg for me is underrated, highly underrated.
Massively.
There's another one as well with Sheffield United fans. They were blaming the fact that Jack O'Connell wasn't there. He's not the greatest centre half in the world. Him being there, wouldn't make a difference because once again they weren't like Sheffield United don't ship goals.
No. They can't score.
They can't score.
Yeah, and it's like
they're creating chances to score. And Brighton create loads of chances to score.
Yeah, but it's the fact that if you're a Sheffield United fan and you say with your heart of hearts, with your whole chest, that the reason you didn't win or that you aren't playing well is because O'Connell is not in your starting 11, I think that's the problem there. You've got a championship side and you've been masquerading as a Premier League team on form. That's it. You're back down where you belong. You recruited poorly. You didn't use the momentum of last season anywhere near like you should have done, because the money for Brewster should have been money for 3-4 other players that you needed.
Yeah.
And you didn't do it. And because when you haven't got Brewster, you got David McGoldrick. You flopped it. It's your fault. Look at it yourself. And this team, I wouldn't even put them too far ahead of the old Sheffield United team that came up under Warnock. I don't think they're miles ahead of them. And they were poor, and everyone said they're poor. Just because they had a bit of form and they're buying some decent players here or there, Brewster and Berger, they're back where they belong. And I just hope Brewster can kick on, because I feel like he needs to kick on from that. Maybe gets a bit of a run in the Championship as well. I think he'll do all right there, because he was at Swansea and stuff. Yeah, and I think he was at I think he was at Swansea before. He's been on loan a couple of times and he does bag. So let's see how he gets on. But Berger, Manchester, mate. I'll buy the ticket. I'll buy it. I ain't got that much, right? But I'll get the ticket somehow. I'll get it straight in. I get the hotel, whatever, a week stay, right? I'll even visit you. We'll have hugs, chats, nice times. Just come, please, Berger. Just be at Manchester United, please. I'll buy the shirt as well. What number do you want? Have any?
Yeah.
Have Pogba's. I don't care. Just come, please. I love him.
Pogba's got to stay.
No, take his number. Pogba, he'll understand. It's Berger, man.
Fair.
He knows. He knows.
Right, that brings us to the end of the show. Dev, it's been an absolute pleasure, as always.
As always, mate.
I'll plug your book for you, because that's what I do.
Thank you very much. It just happened to go over its 50th sale as well. We just reached 50 sales last week. So thank you to everyone.
Congratulations. Let's get that to 100 ASAP. Honestly, everyone should go out and get this book. What I might do, actually, for our next prize giveaway on the MAD Sports Network.
Yeah.
Because we normally, the first one we did, what did we do the first one? Oh, we got the mystery shirt.
Yeah, nice.
And then the second one we did a month's supply of beer.
Sick.
And then the next one, I think we will, whatever we do, we will incorporate your book in it. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to make sure that happens. So yes. So that is the competition. Isn't really a competition. It's a race to 200 subscribers on the MAD Sports Network. So just all you need to do is subscribe to MAD Sports Network. It's as simple as that. And if you
just
do
a little
that,
click of the button, really, just a little click. That's all you got to do.
I made a little video. I think you tweeted that. It's really that easy. It takes seconds. So all you need to do is type in MAD Sports Network into YouTube, and there we are. You click subscribe, and then that'll give you a shout of winning some lovely prizes, including Dev's lovely, brilliant book, A Football Spiderweb, which changes your life and your mind on the whole of football. It really does. Brilliant book.
Lovely stuff. And I'll pay you for saying that afterwards. Yeah, I'll send you the invoice. That was a good one.
Yes, that's fine. Send that to up top, just in case, because that's still limited at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Fair.
Same bank account, yeah. Same one as before.
Yeah.
Right, so. We're recording. Still alive.
Absolute pleasure having you on. Need to get you on some MAD stuff very, very soon. I've got a few ideas in mind that I'm sure you'll enjoy. But anyone and everybody, thank you very much for getting involved and watching the show along with us on To Up Top tonight. To see me next, will be on the MAD Sports Network on Monday with In Case You Missed It at lunchtime. Tuesday is Il Campionato, the championship show, where everything went down this week in the AFL, followed by Wednesday, 2 shows, 7 p.m, Bundesliga show, which will also be available here on To Up Top, as well as the MLS show on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. before we wrap up the week with the Oh You Didn't Know wrestling show on MAD Sports Network. Lovely stuff. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Dev, once again, absolute pleasure. Never a chore. See you again very, very soon. For myself, Gav Mack, and my boy Dev. Take care.